Welcome back. How? See you. The groundbreaker has approved our request for docking, Captain. You're free to disembark. I think I'll initiate an unscheduled rest cycle while you're out.
Well, well, Dr. Fenhill. It's not often I see you on this side of sickbay.
I make it a point not to get shot, and when I do, I can usually take care of the mess myself.
It'd be nice to have you in here, patching people up, not...
I respect what you're doing here, but you know I'm not ready to settle down.
Have it your way, then. You always do. Now, about... Were I a gambling woman? I'd wager you're responsible for my mechanical safe return. I can't thank you enough. Keep hanging around and I'll begin. What can I do? You have...
Hello. Junlei called up from engineering. Dr. Fenhill, I hope you're not...
Harassing?
You have a creative definition of helping. Good luck with this one, Captain. Now is there... a better...
We are now in orbit above Stellar Bay, Captain. No blockade is a match for my piloting skills. Welcome back. I have received a transmission from Roseway.
What? Oh, is this on? Oh, it's on right now. Oh, blast. Hello? I'm trying to reach the captain of the Unreliable. I'll keep this short, lest I get caught. Please return to Roseway as soon as you can. I have an item of great value that you'll be interested in. Now, how does this blasted thing turn off? Damn engineers never label these toggles clearly. Is it the...
The transmission is complete, Captain. Goodbye. We're now in orbit above Roseway, Captain.
Destined to die. Ah, I remember you. Aha. I knew that'd entice you to return to our dangerously I asked you here because I have a working prototype of the Altinature, Auntie Cleo's very first weapon. The schematics you fetched for me lent themselves well to the creation of the beauty you now possess. The market's already saturated, they said. Weapons are everywhere. They aren't interested in Given your unlawful proclivities, I thought it'd be safest with you. So here we are.
We're now in orbit above Stellar Bay, Captain. Remember that you are.
Okay.
I could spend hours reflecting on the secret workings of the universe. Little else in this colony offers such a relaxing pastime. So, tell me... Yes, I've been meaning to discuss exactly that. Now that...
Hey, hold on there. I gotta sign you. Don't think I've seen you around. That means you must be new to Stellar Bay. You are new here, right? I knew it. See, I made what you'd call a logical deduction. You must have seen those UDL gunships on your way in. There's only 3 of them these days. Still, they tend to scare folk off. You may not have heard, you being new, but Stellar Bay hardly ever gets off-world traffic. Us being... Which means I never get to do this part, but I've been practicing. On behalf of Monarch Stellar Industries, welcome to Stellar Bay, home of the freshest sal tuna and halcyon. Aww. Oh, please. Hey, easy. I won't stop you. Mr. Sandra will be mighty pleased to meet you. If you see him over at headquarters, maybe you could tell him I did a bang-up job of welcoming you? Oh, and if you're headed that... I got this Rizzo's Rangers tossball poster coming in on the next sublight shipment, signed by the Black Hole himself. Only I haven't heard anything in a while. You think he... That's Bertie Holcomb, only one of the greatest tossball hackers ever. Everyone's heard of him, even on Monarch. We still get some of the game. Oh, you're real funny. Guess I don't... I couldn't really say I'm just a fan of the game. But the fancy collector types say the more people see these things, the less valuable they are. Thanks a bunch. Celia works for Mr. Sanjar in the MSI building next to the bar. She's always there, so you can't miss her.
What are the chances of all the times and places we could have been born?
Yeah.
We're here, light years from Earth, going about our lives.
Every time the punch clock peals, a worker earns his meals.
What are you talking about?
Sorry, I thought you were quoting It's a Wonderful Directory.
Laws. Can't a man enjoy the smooth menthol flavor of a stogie? What I am doing, sir, is enjoying the moment. It's so... And how should they know what they're missing? I recall when Stellar Bay was a proper board-affiliated town with regular shipments of Auntie Cleo's best and all the cereals. Before Sanjar took over MSI and got... Yes, free to wallow and squalor together. Free to squabble with the iconoclasts over a... Look, you're making me melon.
And the little bastard's slippery, right? On account of its blood. Getting so I can't tell the blood. But I gotta get in there. Get right in that baby rap's stomach and dig it out. If so much as a drop of stomach acid got on that medallion, shit, I don't know what I'd do. Right. What are you staring? Ooh, charmer. Don't get a lot of that around. Nice change of pace. Outstanding! What are you doing in Stellar Bay, stranger? Well. I'm headed back out there after I sober up. You want a guide sooner than that? Outstanding! Our dispensary here maintains a... I'm cut off for the month, on account of needing one just about every damn day. But I'm sure you've got your wily ways. Fetch me one and we'll be all set. Well, they work.
Well. Isn't often we see new folk in Stellar Bay. And Joel, if you plan on sitting through Nyoka's stories, you might could use a few.
I could use a few and telling them myself.
Now what can I do for you? Anyone who spends any amount of time in this bar is bound to get to... And I don't mean that. Anyone who's rid us of as many beasts as... Something else I can... Not since Amber Heights. These days we have more leaving than coming. Thought it had a fancy ring to it. Name's the first advertising. Don't be so negative. Speaking of, you look like you could...
New face, huh? A ship captain? Well, I'll be. Here, why don't you grab a chair? Me and my friends have taken our destiny into our own hands. Well, as long as we... But until the windfall's gone, we're riding high. See, we just walked out on our work. It ain't any one thing but the sum of it all, having to work longer shifts for less... Our supervisor Velma goes on and on about quarterly profits and meeting quotas. But that ain't what Sanjar promised us. Velma refuses to negotiate, so we're refusing to work. We won't go back until she agrees to pay us fair and proper. Us on Monarch, we're free from the board, you know. I wouldn't doubt it. You look like the type who tends to come out on top. Not like us cogs, trying to... It's been days, but Velma won't even hear us out. Maybe you could just make her listen to our demands. You would do that? We sure are lucky you decided to come up to the patio to... Sure thing. Not forever, but we've each saved up our bits, and I stashed them safe in my home by the diner. I reckon we could last a week or... If I knew that, I'd have tried it. Talking reasonably. The others wanted to blackmail her, but we're above that. I would never endorse such an untoward tactic. So far it's just gossip, you know? But if there was any proof to be had, it...
Going. Headed back.
Quietly now.
Sir, please, I need your help. Oh, thank you for stopping. Everyone acts like nothing's wrong. Like my... Please, you have to help me get my little Tucker back. He ran away and is going to get himself killed. Oh,
It's more dissolving than melting.
that is not... Don't you tell me to calm down. I promised my boy I'd protect him for always. But how can I keep him safe if he's run away? He ran out into the wilderness a few days ago. I warned him about the raptidons. Please, Well, I guess I can't act. I've got some bits saved up for a rainy day. I'll give you every... He's been pining for an adventure. Says, I warned him. A raptidon would snap him up first chance it got. I just know he should have listened to his mama. He's been listening to those awful broadcasts at the Iconoclast. And now I just know my boy's run off to Amber Heights. That is, if a manta queen hasn't spooled out and eaten his entrails for breakfast already. Those low-life degenerates, leading innocent boys into a life of danger. Oh, they make it sound so... How noble is it to worry your loved ones? Not at all, I say. If they weren't holed up in Amber Heights, that old settlement, southwest of Stellar Bay. I don't know which is worse, or that he never made it. Sprats could be nesting in his rotting or maybe marauders got him, pulled all his teeth out, crushed him into their drugs, and made him snort them. Oh, the things that could happen to my sweet. Thank you. Oh, you look for him in Amber Heights, you hear? It's down the road. And if you find any of them iconoclasts indoctrinating my boy, you put...
Wrap Musk and Canadize, right here. Hello, stranger. Can I interest you in Raptidon tongue? Or maybe some Canid tone? You look like a man who's looking for some... I don't know. Celia usually buys whatever I have, and Mr. Pickett seemed real... She works for Sanjar at MSI. She's also Stellar Bay's biggest collector of Canid incisors. And I should know, because she buys... He came to Stellar Bay years ago, just before the board cut us off. Ended up stuck here. He was always real Sure, they're real... Who wouldn't be? Now that just sounds like a fancy way to say... Well, I could send you to the same place I sent Mr. Pickett. Tell you what, I'll tell you where I sent Mr. Pickett if you... All right then. Leave town through the southern gate. The one right here. Last Mana Queen I saw was in the wilds out... Oh.
Well, well. The only new folk I ever see in town are sublight runners from Fallbrook. What can I get? If you don't see it, I don't...
Could I get another advance, Mr. Nandi?
Just make sure it's prop... Well, new business turns up at last. Celia, didn't I tell you our new statistics-based advertising model would be a hit?
That you did, sir.
How can yield improvements of 26.7% not quicken the pulse? How can 32...
You've often posed...
Clear my schedule.
You'd be a hit in Byzantium.
Did you hear that power play, Celia? They don't make them like this anymore in Halcyon. I only hope you don't... Now, what business... Hiram? Why, he's probably still out at Devil's Peak. Not that he's had the courtesy to notify me, at any rate. But if you're here for him, I suppose that means you aren't here for Saltuna. Now, there's no need to humor me. I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with enticing figures would... Thanks to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been cut off from the board's resources and protection for 10 years now. Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the
Exactly what I would have said, if I'd been paying attention. You talk like Graham.
Freedom always sounds nice, doesn't it? But if you sit down and tally up the costs, how you provide for yourself in the absence of aid, how...
Exactly. Intellectualism fuels the train to mankind's future, but the tracks the train runs on are forged from practicality.
What?
Yes, it's as though the good vicar...
Well, Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI restored to the board.
On our terms, mind you.
Returning to the board is your only chance if you hope to survive here on Monarch.
Indeed not. No.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps...
It's a two-pronged approach. The first part involves seeing... Not long, but the devil... And the salient detail here is a Bolt 52 cartridge. If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive and secure cities in Halcyon.
And you'll have a powerful ally on the board.
Why, one of the strongest defenses in Halcyon?
Never realized fighting the bureaucracy could be this interesting.
It is quite the rush. In the old arms building southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had to move our walls in, these days it's overrun with marauders and raptidons. Saying what? Which way? That's just what it's called. It's supposed to stand for something, but I forget what. Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous information. What can I do for... Then it's good that I keep such meticulous notes. I've asked myself the same thing many times. Not intentionally, though that's technically true. For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2. But back then, it was... Really? I always thought they were refreshingly straightforward names. After all, the whole point of...
Here, though, the results...
And as the other corporations began to tally their losses, our leadership at the time certainly wanted to.
And how did that work out?
Most regard Monarch, but there were others of us who saw an opportunity. The chance. It's humane, but it's also good business sense. Exhausted, sick, and malnourished work. Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would... creating the perfect environment for us to... No, they laughed in our faces. Yes, some of us stayed behind, and as the most senior executive remaining, I ended up in charge of what was left of...
Must have pissed off some real big suits to get stuck with that.
I moved forward with our planned reforms, as well as our... Yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us from the... I don't know. Everything we did was legal and above board. We followed their rules. I do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. Something that keeps us... Why wouldn't anyone? They own nearly all the resources...
Without the board, chaos would overtake the system. Working...
If you can't beat him, might as well join him and reach into their pockets.
To be on the board is to be part of the colonial community, and being cut off means slow strangulation. I fear the MSI citizens who've been dissolved. If membership on the board can ease our hardships, and besides, I'm hopeful that additional leverage on our part.
Don't get ahead of yourself, sir.
Yes. My hope is to maintain the reforms we've managed here, and who knows? Perhaps. It's a legal provision that gives the board the authority to cordon off any planet or location that it deems dangerous.
A necessary evil for the greater good of society.
That's exactly how the board describes it. Yes, making all of MSI criminals in the board's eyes. Rather hard to run a business that way. He and his followers call themselves the Iconoclasts. Lawless anarchists, all of them. If anyone on Monarch deserves the reputation the board's pinned on us, it's them.
I will admit, I am keen to meet their leader.
Well, be careful what you wish for. Graham has a habit of ruining everything, and everyone around him. It isn't just that they drain our people and resources. Every radical act they commit cements Halcyon's image of us all as destructive rebels, and pushes us further from the rest of the colony. He's lucky the board doesn't take him seriously enough to keep more than a few UDL gunships patrolling Monarch.
An Earth Directorate assault cruiser would change his tune. It's almost a shame we haven't seen one around Monarch in a long while.
What can I do for you? I see. And well, that's excellent. What else can...
Greetings, and welcome to Monarch Stellar Industries. What can I... Not at all. Mr. Nandi treats us all right and pays us well. I just spent most of my paycheck on Raptidon acid. Laws, no. Sometimes it's canid teeth, or mantis worm wings. Whatever Sebastian has in stock, really. So I can talk to him, of course. He doesn't get going about much else. Sort of the strong... Unfortunately, my apartment's kind of filling up with his... Would you? I'd appreciate that so much. Maybe don't tell him I wanted you to... Oh, Mr. Nandi's doing that thing where he breathes. He doesn't talk much, but he's got this quiet intensity, you know? Like, plus, he's got great legs. It's hard to find a man who doesn't skimp on lower body exercises.
Good to have standards, I guess.
I know what I'm looking for. You think that's what I'm looking for? Not in Stellar Bay. Everyone else, besides. A man with a good smile. Sorry, sometimes I get carried away. I'll keep it down.
What do you think you're... You're lucky I've already filled my quota. You look like a man who's looking for some most... Huh. I haven't seen her in a few days, but I've been meaning to... I hope it's working okay, because no one else... Wait, I see what's going on. Don't get me wrong. I'd like to give her a discount. She's a real... But if I give her one, I won't hardly make a bit. You sound pretty sure. And she... Okay, I'll do it. What?
Have you talked to Sebastian? You know, sending you is the first bright idea I've seen from that man, because I told him to stop bothering me about... I still don't know anything about it. But if you want to help him... But I'll warn you. Oh! Okay! But how did he say it? Was he like, yay, a date with Celia? I've secretly been waiting for... Not to worry. If I never buy an... look at me going on. I'm sure you've got other things to do. Anyhow...
Someone's been killed! I think I'm gonna be sick. I clean the apartments while everyone's... If you're going into the apartments, do not... Now, if you'll excuse me. The body's in the first apartment on the right. So much blood.
What a gruesome way to die.
Not much I can do for this guy.
Whatever you do, don't mention Tossball to Isaac. You'll never hear the end of it.
You know, I haven't...
If you've gotten stuck in an hour-long rant about mostly colonists...
You startled me. Don't...
The body's in the first apartment on the right. So much blood.
Good day to you. Good day to you.
Whoa, by the stars, my poor heart. Most people... Besides... Where should I begin? With the oversized mantisaurs? Or perhaps the board was right. Sanjar, of course. He had all these glorious ideas about how he'd run Monarch. Rest period. It all sounds wonderful. Until you realize it's only a few...
That's what she said.
There's... only every day. But in case you haven't noticed, and even if I did scrape together enough to buy passage out with sublight, which would mean... nothing. That's what. Because MSI is not in what you'd call... Even talking about it as my blood pressure...
All right, I'm on my way.
Be right there.
If Velma's capable of running the warehouse, she can certainly pick up her own caffeinoid.
Don't be so hard on her. With Brax missing, she's working doubles and needs a little edge.
Very well, dearie. But you stop by anytime you like. Hmm?
Thanks, I'll keep that in mind. Velma's gonna be extra cranky if she doesn't get her caffeinoid.
Hello, dearie. Why, I don't...
Quite the bedside manner.
Well, it's so rare I get the play. What can Auntie have? She works over at the fishery next door. Why, just the other day, I heard her shouting. Oh, but here I go again, run. Yes, indeed. Someone's got to... Oh, but I am. And what a helpful young man you are. Nothing like a little pill to...
Whiskey helps.
Please leave me. Now, dearie, who... I'm so sorry, but with the iconoclasts, our reserves have gotten so low, I've even had to start locking the supply room. Isn't... I'd make an exception for you if I could, my little cherub. Oh, it's none of my business, but I have told her Dr. Williams would bump up her monthly allotment. Now I've gone and said too much. Dr. Williams managed the town's allotment. Oh, you flatter an old woman. Me, and to keep an extra key to the supply room. The one upstairs. Well, this certainly isn't worth my good health. There, and good riddance. I have nothing more to say to you, young man.
Ooh, you're the new face. Wow, you must be... So who do you follow?
Wait, don't tell me. You look like a Hammersmith Thunder fan. No, Glacial Age Mammoths. I'd heard they'd gotten a new hacker. Is that why Maybe... So, what...
Graham's always filling the airway.
All it means is the tossball games get to us in front.
Poor Isaac. I was wondering why I hadn't seen him in a few days. I'd really like to help. Isaac was a sweet fellow, even if he did have terrible teeth. Right. So the thing with Isaac is he didn't know where to stop. Sometimes he'd drink purpleberry punch by the liter. Other times... I don't know for sure, but I saw a lot. They're hooligans from Fallbrook.
They sweep into town, drop supplies. They usually loiter in the alley behind the yacht club. They're not allowed in the bar anymore. I bet you anything. Mr. Sanjar will be pleased to hear about it when you're done. I know he gets fed up with the...
Velma seem out of sorts to you?
She's always cranky.
No, I mean, more than usual.
Wouldn't know. I made it a point to stay out of her way.
I can take a hint.
Look, you can tell Catherine the new shipment will be ready when it's ready, all right? She's welcome to come up here. Did she now? Well, I can see I was mistaken. Because if Catherine... I hope you can forgive my... First, my autoloader foreman stages a walkout, and now... Braxton. He's in charge of getting the fish fat, but also making sure they don't get too many... He's a real wizard with pharmaceuticals, but he has creative notions of... I can't keep working. Since you don't seem to be constrained yourself, maybe you could check up on him. He lives in... Tell him Velma said to get his lazy ass down here, or she might start noticing those extra jugs he's... Something else on your... Sublight boss out of Fallbrook. Handles most goods that come in or out. Stealing such a nasty word. And yeah, let's just say I've noticed the sterile biotics we use for the fish would get used a little... Someone would've if this were a corporate town. Besides, the Spacer's Choice stuff we use is cheap enough. And unless you're here to tell me he... Hard workers? Caleb and his crew have it better than anyone. I don't have the bit. Besides, if I make an exception for...
She's principled, in at least...
Thank you. If Caleb wants to keep this job, he'd better get back. Same thing as me. Where's your proof? Because I know no one's been poking around my...
Are you absolutely sure of that, Ms. Ballard?
Just as a... Maybe so. But I bet you Caleb runs out of... He says he's got a stash to tide his crew over. Could be he's all talk. But if the money's real... For running me ragged while he takes an extent... Fine by... This again? You can tell Grimm his poster came in. You can also tell him I got that about cover it. No. I paid Sublight for it. So, it's mine. And when Nell pays me, it's staying locked up in my office until Nell shows with her. She runs the betting parlor across the way. Nice professional lady. She asked me about the poster once. Damn. Sure can. Sure. And once... Fine by me.
Hey! What do you think you're doing? Do what you want, I guess.
I'd give you a friendlier welcome. Unless you're here to tell if Kayla... Yeah, and did you miss the part where I'm working
Iron?
I'm the one who keeps this... Fine. Tell Caleb he and his team can have the rate. Something else... Any... We're not like those corporate towns where you get fined for sleeping. Besides, the Spacer's Choice...
Velma's not so bad, as long as you avoid her when she's stressed.
Smells like rat in here. Oh, it does work. I bought some musk from Sebastian to cover up the saltuna smell.
Trust me, this is worse.
Ah, the charmer. Oh.
Says someone who's never had any fun.
Exactly. See?
That was fast.
You be careful. The first one's free. After that, they'll offer you... Great. Oh, Hiram? I ain't checked in on that man in an age. He's running the giant radio tower. We'll be going south and west, mostly along the road till we're past Fallbrook. If you're more of a spelunker, Rotting River will take you in. That said, three's...
Mighty big gun you...
Stellar Bay had a vicar once. He took it upon himself to convince Graham's folk to come back to the corporate fold. Kept making the trip between the city and Amber Heights by foot. Kept getting himself into all sorts of scrapes. Day came when I found a book of his in the middle of a raft encampment. And still gripping it, too.
The plan unfolds as the plan unfolds. To Vicar and layman alike. I don't mean to judge, but... Are you ever sober, Miss Ramnarine Wentworth?
Only when I got a job to do. And even that ain't a guarantee.
Why don't you grab a chair? Got an update for us? Well, I'll be a rap. As agreed, here's your compensation. Ain't a lot. Now me and my friends here better get back to work before...
I'll keep quiet.
What do you think you're doing? Carry on.
A vicar, huh? You a true believer, or do you just like the tithes?
Why, that's borderline offensive, Miss Ramnarine Wentworth. Of course I believe. The tithes are merely a well-earned bonus.
I met another believer once. Pushy type. He thought he'd been left behind for a reason. Thought he'd find some kind of cosmic truth in the wilderness. Got himself infected by a mantis and drowned in a sulfur pool. Some truth.
Can't get more brutally true than survival of the fittest. But don't mistake us all for blind fools. Intellect plays a large part in who stays among the living.
Glad to hear it.
easy does it. Understood. I'll keep my head down.
Velma seen out of sorts to you?
He's always cranky.
So, guess who Celia brought home the other night? Finally. Now she can stop buying that junk from him. Might be good to smile. Yeah. Noise.
You again! Braxton, I've never... Oh. In that case... He told me he was delivering to this house in the ruins south of town. So...
We're in agreement that this Braxton is probably dead, right? Is it true that manta queens devour their mates after copulation?
Yeah. Well, sort of. They kill them, but they leave the body till their swarm hatches and eats it. The first meal is their father.
Makes one appreciative he wasn't born a Mentosaur.
A slimy man like you might fit in just fine.
Hey! What are you doing? Berta already pissed by those crates. Listen, that purple tooth, and not that it's a... How? That was supposed to go out with... What are you saying? Wow. Most of the pencil pushers around here cave as soon as...
Who the fuck are you? This ain't your alley.
Well, I see you've had a
Sir...
Forgive me. Anyway. I'm glad to hear you've dealt with... I've been consumed with other matters of late, but I would have dealt with... Still, your intervention... Then it... What can I do?
Have you had time to check on that poster yet?
Would you look at that? The Rizzo's logo is nice and bright, and you can still... I can't thank you enough. Still, you can... And you know what? Take my old tossball blocker, too. Never get the chance to use it. You think maybe you could get some of your friends to land here, too? It's real quiet.
Captain, let's talk. Hey, gotta figure while we're out here in the wilderness anyhow. Preferably before we get to... You don't seem the type to run off and get yourself killed. I'll be upfront with you. I hate asking for help. I hate it every time I... But this... Really? I used to run with a band of hunters. Friends. 6 of us. We were on I haven't seen 2 of them in years, and the rest I know to be dead. I'd like to gather their First, we go to Hayes. I'll show you where he rests. Then we find my 2 lost... A long time ago, we built an encampment in one of Monarch's caves. If we can find Rebecca and Anders, they'll know how to lure her out. Then, we...
Hold on to your hats, children. This ride is about to get ugly.
You'll get used to it. Give it 10 or 15 years. Right, here's the road. Follow it down.
Road kill!
And we're alive.